Okay, so to find out how we burn fat, first we need to know how we store it in the first place. And to find this out, it starts with what we eat. Now, when we have a meal, our sugar levels rise. Our body then releases insulin from our pancreas into our bloodstream in order to bring our sugar levels back down to their normal level. And the way it does this is by helping the glucose from our bloodstream into our muscles, our liver, and temporarily into our fat cells. Now, after a meal, once our insulin levels return back down to normal, if energy is required, our body will break down our fat reserves in order to fuel our body's needs in between our meals. Now, years ago, our bodies were very efficient at working this way. We'd have breakfast, we'd burn it off, we'd dip into our fat reserves, we'd have lunch, we'd burn that off, and so on. We'd repeat the process meal after meal. Now, in this day and age, with so many refined sugars, processed foods, and takeaways, a lot of us have such high sugar levels that actually all we spend doing all day is burning up the calories from our meal and never actually dip into our fat reserves. Consequently, we never actually benefit despite putting all the hard work in at the gym. Now, this is where fitness and nutrition often gets misunderstood, because it all depends on what your goal is as to how much or when you should eat. For example, I personally would have a meal an hour or so before my workout, because I want to make sure whatever I'm burning off is coming from my meal and not necessarily from my fat stores, as my goal isn't to burn any more fat as I'm already slim as it is. Now, somebody who did want to burn off fat wouldn't necessarily have a meal before their workout, because they want to make sure whatever they're burning off is coming from their fat stores and not from their meal. Now, here are a couple of tips to help anybody wanting to maximize their chances of burning the most fat. Number one is possibly the most effective, and that is to cut out all sugars. Now, our body only starts to burn fat when insulin isn't present in our bloodstream. So if sugar levels aren't high, insulin isn't needed, and therefore the more likely you are to burn fat to fuel your body's needs. The second one is to space meals apart. Now, the longer you leave between your meals, the longer you have for your sugar level to return back to normal, and the more likely you are to dip into your fat reserves. Number three is to eat smaller meals, and that's the same principle. The smaller your meals are, the less your sugar levels are going to rise, and the faster they're going to return back down to normal. And number four is to move more. Now, the more you move, the more calories you're going to burn, and consequently, the more fat you're going to burn over the course of that day. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.